Well, these are the songs we're going to be recording for the album. My mom said it herself that the decision would be on us after all. I don't know what you talked about with my mom, Haruki, but this is the official arrangement of the Tomoyoko office. If Kaiosha isn't willing to go through with that, then making the album itself will no longer be possible. Any questions? If not, then I suppose we can declare this meeting finished.
Hang on.
I see, a no-go, huh? What a pity, Setsuna. It seems the plans for the album have just gone down the drain.
I didn't mean it like that when I told you to hang on. But it still is definitely a no-go, though.
Huh? What? I said I'd give it my all to play all this, right?
Well, yeah, you're going to be playing too. You will, but this is the intended set list that Kazusa mentioned for the album. Well, preliminary set list for the album is completely different from what I had proposed, just as I expected. This isn't even a Tomo Kazusa album anymore.
Haruki-kun?
I think it's better to say that our plan just underwent a disastrous overhaul.
You know, you guys planned this whole thing just so you could mess with me, didn't you?
What do you mean, mess with you?
I hope that you two won't expect me to give in to your whims up until the very end. This proud piano prodigy isn't going to just sit by and be outdone, regardless of whether it'll be by a newcomer editor with high expectations on his back, or a popular and beautiful public relations specialist.
With the way things are now, it's impossible. Leaving Setsuna's responsibilities aside, wouldn't that be an excessively tall task you're putting on me?
Yep. No matter how tough or agonizing it will be, I imagine you're going to be the only one that won't get much time to rest from now on at all.
This is just pointless! Who will actually benefit from this?
Who exactly do you think will benefit from this?
Like I know! I imagine it'd become a hot topic of discussion. I imagine there might even be a wildly enthusiastic crowd that'll be thrilled if they learned of this. Though I imagine the majority of Tomo Kazusa fans would be tilting their heads in puzzlement about this arrangement.
Hey, Haruki, don't you think there would at least be one person here who would benefit from this?
Someone here. Like I said, what are you even... Oh no. This is bad. Setsuna?
Haruki-kun?
Hey, you know, the two of us are both working members of society, working on different branches, aren't we?
It actually sounds really interesting.
I knew it. Setsuna has already proven how irresponsible she can be 5 years ago.
Hey, let's go for it! Let's become the three happy fools we were back then again!
And it seems that her defining traits haven't changed one bit either. This includes a particular side of her when you could plop an idea that's interesting but very taxy on her person, and she'd be drawn to it by the mere appeal of the idea and work her hardest for it.
But is this really okay, Kazusa? It's my album. I won't allow anyone to give any complaints about it.
Wait! This is going to be selling in bookstores all over the country, you know? And tens of thousands of first editions at that.
The two of you have already managed a duet before this, haven't you? You ended up ditching me and performed by yourself, didn't you?
I can't believe it. This is the worst case scenario I could have ever predicted.
We'll be doing a complete reenactment this time. A reenactment of Hojo High School's light music club, that is.
I stand corrected. This is worse than I could have ever predicted. February 24th, Sunday. Good morning. Wait, there's already someone here?
Huh? But I thought we were supposed to start at 3 p.m.
I suppose they wanted to prepare early. That aside, though, why is there a sleeping bag in the booth?
There's also a picnic blanket on the floor.
I also happened to stumble upon a portable stove in the lounge earlier. Hey, that's a violation of the fire code, isn't it?
Good morning! Sorry about that. I see you're already here, huh? I was just doing some cleaning here.
Ah, good morning.
Good morning!
Ogaso-chan, what's the meaning of this setup today?
I'm sorry, Yamaguchi-san. For us to be arranging something like this on a Sunday. Though, in any case, there's not much time left before we have to start recording.
No, that's really not the problem. But don't you think the atmosphere is rather odd here?
You think so? But people use this place this way all the time, don't they?
Whoever's in there seems to have no inclination of coming out anytime soon. In fact, they seem to be more absorbed in their playing now than ever. The place is set up so elaborately that they can get away with staying over as long as they want as well.
And I can smell a faint curry aroma in the air.
The truth is she's among the group of the artists that are involved in our current arrangement.
There's no doubt that it's classical music, which means that what we're working on is...
Huh? Yes, it's true that she's currently playing classical music right now, but I've acquired another group of staff to help record her piano solos.
I really don't understand what you mean. Could you start over and explain all of this to me so I can understand it?
Of course. We're actually working with...
Whoa! It's Toma Kazusa!
You're kidding, right? Huh. Whoa, it's the real deal.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Uh-huh. If I recall, she's Tomoyoko's daughter who recently returned to Japan. What? Is it our job to record her? I believe something like that was mentioned, yes. Something about a mini-album as a bonus for a magazine.
Wasn't the magazine the bonus that comes with the album?
I'm sorry, but please don't put it that way to the folks working for Kayosha.
She's more popular than most amateur performers nowadays, isn't she? To think that she'd suddenly decide to promote herself despite not responding to any of the attempts of our sales department to reach out to her. But you were the one who managed to arrange all this, right, Ogaso-chan? I imagine the sales department must be full of shame about this.
No, I'm sorry.
Wow! Still, she really is beautiful. You could easily consider her a celebrity.
Well, we're fortunate that our public relations specialist doesn't lose to her in that regard.
In any case, let's begin talking about this arrangement, shall we? It's going to be really complex, so I'll explain things in order.
Should I ask her to join us then?
No, it's fine. I'll be handling these discussions in her stead.
No, I mean, it's not every day that we get to see an artist in the flesh. So I thought I'd introduce ourselves.
I'm sorry. She's really not the type that likes talking to people she doesn't know. And besides,
Besides what?
if you're looking for an artist for the current arrangement, there's one standing right here, too.
Hey, you were off.
I know that.
Ah, and now you've gone out of sync.
Well, you're playing faster and faster, so
I see your ability and your excuses haven't changed at all since then, Haruki. You really have no talent at all. What? Are you mad about me speaking the truth?
Kazusa,
Hmm?
let's try again from the top.
All right then. As many times as you want.
The strong sense of deja vu that's permeating across my chest stops my fingers for just a moment. Had I not heard her say, "You haven't changed at all since then," perhaps I would have addressed her as Toma instead.
I see your hiatus has done a number on your skills again.
I was never supposed to continue playing anyway.
Even an amateur would be able to play well, you know? They'd at least perform better than when I heard you play for the first time.
This coming from someone who cried her heart out over guitar playing that's seemingly worse than an amateur's.
I told you to play, so get to it. If you have the time to spout out such nonsense, then move your fingers already.
I get it, okay? So she heard me. I suppose that's to be expected from the ears of a professional pianist.
You have to make sure your performance is at least somewhat presentable in the next 5 days. We don't have much time left.
You're right. We don't have much time left. Then why did you even propose such a ridiculous idea?
Ridiculous?
It's a song involving the three of us, and it's a new song that's going to be recorded on a mini album. I knew from the get-go that the terms for victory for this particular battle were a tall order, though I never could have anticipated that Kazusa would willingly raise the obstacles in our path of her own accord. You're crossing a dangerous tightrope as it is by yourself, and yet you made Setsuna and me cross it with you, on a bicycle no less. What were you thinking?
Do you not want to get on stage with me?
Among the songs that Kazusa decided should be recorded for her album, the final song that was written down on the list, rather, a song that doesn't even have a name yet, to be named. Vocals, Ogiso Setsuna. Lyrics, Kitahara Haruki. Composition, Toma Kazusa. Performed by Osho High School's Light Music Club. As absurd as it is, I don't dislike it. Fine, you can leave it to me. My body is filled with a sense of exhilaration, as if I'm reliving the last week of back then. You stood by me and helped me achieve my impossible request 5 years ago. That's why it's my turn to help you fulfill your ridiculous idea.
Haruki?
5 years ago, I had been the one who ended up making a new song. The reason why Kazusa had to play various musical instruments. And the culprit that caused Kazusa to be dragged into all that to begin with. And above all, I had forced the dismantled light music club onto the stage of the school festival. Setsuna also hasn't changed at all. What with her going off saying she wants to do everything, whether it be now or back then. That's why I'll protect Kazusa this time. I'll protect her with Setsuna by my side.
You right. She kept laughing everything off and was the only one who didn't have to work hard among us.
Such is the dream I visualized. Yeah, she was just enjoying the situation. Nothing really matters to her so long as she can sing however she wants to. After suffering, struggling, and almost making the same mistakes again, I've finally arrived at the battle for everyone's happiness. And to come out victorious, I will.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Lunch is ready. What is it? Why are you guys laughing the moment you see me?
No. I was just thinking just how adorable you are, Setsuna.
We were just singing the praises of the idol who won Hojo High's Miss Hojo contest for 3 consecutive years.
I have no idea what you two are talking about, but I do know that you two are trying to make fun of me.
I'll have to give it my all. February 25th, Monday.
Ah, the sun is yellow.
Speak so loudly about something like that, and you'll end up inviting various misunderstandings. After almost 2 days of being unable to flourish under the sun, Setsuna yawns and stretches towards the sun like a sunflower. It's Monday, a weekday where Setsuna and I have to overcome the obstacle of going to work while we're staying over at the studio. Well, I suppose this was already expected from the beginning anyway. So long as Kazusa is concentrating on practice, it shouldn't be a major problem.
Staying up for 2 nights is really taking its toll. It's hard to keep my eyes open even under such weak light.
The only price we have to pay is the time we have for sleep. Is that so? I'm still perfectly fine though.
I'm worried about how you're going to do your job today and your health moving forward, Haruki-kun.
It'll be alright. I'm still young after all.
You say that, but sooner or later you'll collapse before you know it. You can't just neglect having proper rest while you still can.
Yeah, I understand. I'll be more considerate about it starting next month. Despite my dismissive, nonchalant reply, Setsuna's concern is actually quite touching. Either way, that worry isn't something I give to myself, but something I've completely left to the person who cares for me more than I do. I would have never even thought about something so self-serving as that up until 3 months ago.
When will you be returning today?
Let's see, I have to submit my first edited draft today, so I think I won't be able to come back until 8 o'clock. Though with the way things are now, I'm not really in a position to be able to let something so selfish come out of my mouth.
I suppose I could finish by 6 if I work hard. I'll be working outside the office in the afternoon, so I'll immediately head back to the studio after I'm done.
I understand. Do try your best not to doze off now.
We promised, didn't we? We promised we wouldn't inconvenience anyone around us for our own convenience.
To the best of our ability, of course. We've already caused enough trouble as things are.
guess you're right. I'll get going then. Do your best, Haruki-kun.
Yeah, I'll be heading off now. See you tonight. There's only 5 days left. 5 days left for the both of us to give it our all. The two of us swore to match Kazusa as she's doing everything she can.
You idiot! It's because you always put things off until the very last minute that you miss such basic errors.
I'm sorry. Immediately after I swore to give it my all, I am confronted with a situation where giving it my all is completely out of the equation.
Do you honestly think that we have the time to look for a designer right now? Our deadline's at the end of the week, you know?
I'll think of something.
And how will you exactly? You're thinking about going back to the CD sleeves, aren't you?
No, I won't stand for that. Though I guess I can only blame myself. This is undeniably a very fundamental mistake on my part. Just as Hamada-san pointed out, I actually forgot to order a design for the jacket of the mini-album.
Then what are you going to do about this? I'll tell you right now that I won't be covering for you beyond this point. You hear me? Things have become like this all because of your rashness.
Yup. I can't allow Tomokazusa's debut album in Japan to be released in a CD sleeve. Even if it's just going to be a bonus CD for a magazine issue. Though, as much as I proclaimed that, I ended up doing nothing about it.
Don't give me that yes of yours. I'm asking you to give a proper solution to this mess. In other words, I'm asking what you intend to do until our deadline for our submission arrives.
Please, give me a little time to reflect on this.
You'll have to forgive me for saying this, but you really have been getting carried away recently, haven't you?
I have no words in the face of this exact truth.
You haven't discussed anything with me, and you've had the guts to ignore all my warnings in the status reports.
I'm sorry. I really have gotten carried away. With reasons such as it being for Kazusa's sake, or Setsuna doing her best with me. Being so absolutely absorbed in that pleasant sense of responsibility, I've completely neglected the normal world outside of us three.
I'll hear you out about your recovery plan tomorrow morning. If we don't have a concise solution, we'll have to stick with the plain old CD sleeves, and without any label or logo on them.
But that's...
Are you suggesting that we could delay the release of the issue by a week then? I'm impressed, given that even I wouldn't dare to propose something like that. You can go now. If you're going to struggle, then go ahead and struggle until tomorrow.
Thank you very much. If you'll excuse me then.
What an absolute idiot.
Hamada-san?
Yeah, I know what you want to say, so just spare me.
No, that's really not what I was getting at. I could introduce you to a freelance designer, you know. He could even provide us with the product within the week so long as we pay an urgency fee.
Or perhaps you could let me handle it instead. Though, don't expect the quality of a professional from me.
I'll help out Suzuki-san with that then. You don't have any complaints about it so long as I can meet the deadline for the graph, right?
No, each and every one of your suggestions are rejected. You guys are really spoiling Kitahara too much.
Well, he usually helps me out a lot.
He's one of us after all. And he's my only junior, after all.
Everything's fine, so just stay out of this. It's good to let him fail every once in a while. That boy has had far too few setbacks up until now.
Still, someone as serious as him might not be able to recover from a single setback, you know?
It's his first time working on an assignment as large as this, so I imagine he's also heavily invested in it.
Like I said, everything's fine. I've already prepared a backup design.
Excuse me?
All that's left is for us to decide on a title and a logo, and we're done. It may not necessarily be to his tastes, but I won't let him complain about that.
Hamada-san,
Well, I can only hope my efforts were for naught.
What's this? You can really get things done when you need to, Hamada-san.
As expected from our respected superior. Still, if that's the case, you could have just told him about it.
You heard what Kazaki said. He's brittle as a twig when it comes to setbacks. So I'm giving him some thick skin by twisting his branches little by little.
Hamada-san,
You wouldn't happen to have received those instructions from Mari-san, would you? Just kidding, haha.
Don't make fun of me. I was already properly preparing for this before she directed me to do all this.
So, she was right about Mari-san. I'm really sorry about it. I still don't have a jacket design for the album yet.
I never realized that at all, either. I'm sorry. I'm equally guilty.
As the two of us kneeled down apologetically side by side before her in the studio, Kazusa lets out a clearly furious and bewildered expression. In that case, we have to work on the jacket design tonight. I know that this means I'll have to delay my guitar practice, but I'll make sure I'll be able to make it in time.
I'm going to be the one working on the design, but, I really don't think I'll be able to come up with something amazing.
While I'm at it, I'm actually going to be responsible for post-processing afterwards, though I suppose it'll only make our product even more amateurish.
Still, this is a good thing, isn't it? This way, we can actually make it look like our album. We're
really sorry. Please let us off the hook this
time.
There's a pile of miscellaneous items beside me. They include still-wrapped packages of multifunction printing paper and ink, as well as a graphics software package. After I was chased out of the editing department by Hamada-san, I immediately contacted Setsuna and hurried here after purchasing some items from the electric appliance store, barely before closing hours. I don't even want to think about how much all this cost. After all, I barely managed to keep these expenses within the company's allocated budget. In any case, here's how tonight's schedule will go. First, I'll be spending an hour setting up all our materials.
Meanwhile, I'll try to work on the design. I don't exactly know when I'll be able to finish it, but I'll set my target to within 2 hours from now.
Then I'll polish it after it's scanned. During that time, you should continue on with designing the logo, Setsuna.
And after that's done, I'll leave it to you to synthesize the two designs, Haruki-kun. And you should be able to finish by tomorrow morning.
I know all of this is a very hopeful estimate, but could you please calm down for the time being? Kazusa's expression remains unchanged, despite how politely I'm trying to explain all this to her. Her arms remain folded in discontent, as she glares between Setsuna and me with her lips kept in a straight line. She has every right to be angry. The very person who had been so strict to her about keeping things to schedule ended up disrupting it completely out of the blue.
Well,
And the moment I thought Kazusa was about to unleash her profound rage and harshly condemn me,
what am I supposed to do?
What do you mean? What are you supposed to do?
she's being harsh as expected, though in a way that caught the two of us completely off guard.
Setsuna will work on the design and Haruki will do the post-processing. So, I'm asking what I'm supposed to be doing.
No, your schedule hasn't changed. You just have to practice.
Why are you two allowed to work on something so exciting while I have to be stuck practicing?
Kazusa?
Moreover, only her tone seems to be harsh.
You guys are being unfair. I've said this many times, haven't I? Why do you guys always have to leave me out?
Kazusa is indeed angry. Nevertheless, the reason she's angry is not quite what we imagined.
Do you intend to help us out?
Of course I am. It's my album, isn't it?
I think it's better to say it's quite different from what we anticipated. Wait, but your piano.
I'll play, of course. I'll play, but you have to include me in this too. Even if you've finished the product, we'll start over if I'm not satisfied with it. I refuse to compromise. If you understand, then hurry and get things set up already. We don't have much time left until the concert.
No, like I said, you really shouldn't join us in working on something like this and just concentrate on practicing. Where do I connect this cable to?
Wow! So cute! This is amazing! It's absolutely adorable, Kazusa!
Don't say that right in front of me. You're always like this, Setsuna.
Let's see, it has to go through here, and then, although I attempted to composedly begin setting up everything, I'm no longer able to prevent my body from being overwhelmed by a cold sweat.
If people can't praise things that are praiseworthy, then art would never come to exist.
To begin with, that's a snapshot, isn't it? It's just odd to include something like this in a magazine.
I ran out of luck the moment Setsuna, of all people, ended up discovering the first printed iteration that I'd asked Kazusa to examine.
But after all, your expression here is so adorable, pretty, yet so sad. This photo is way better than the cover photo that Graf came up with.
You can't even differentiate between the quality of a professional and an amateur. You really have weird tastes, Setsuna. Should we really leave the design to you?
Oh no, I can tell the difference between them.
But the cameraman for this picture is way more amateurish.
I'm not saying I can tell their skill apart. What I can tell is the difference between how much the two cameramen love their subject of photography. The amateur cameraman, he can never prevent his love for you from leaking out, Kazusa.
That's not something an amateur can really tell apart.
You think I'm an amateur? I think I'm quite obsessed when it comes to the model and the cameraman, though.
Excuse me, but could you two get back to work already? Go practice the piano. Work on designs. That's right. This was bound to happen the moment we decided we'd be staying over together. regardless of how close both our stamina and our schedule are to their limits, these two will still manage to find time to mess around as the night goes on. Those two friends always end up making a lot of noise and getting excited around each other. And in the end, they always leave us with no progress at all.
You're wrong. It's just your misunderstanding, Setsuna. Just as I thought.
You think so?
After all, if he truly did have so much love for me, why would he divulge secrets between the two of us to another woman? Why would he ask another woman for help? Why wouldn't he help me himself?
Are you jealous? Do you resent the other woman he sought help from? Do you have the urge to slap her?
Let's not continue with this subject. It's already over, isn't it?
I was jealous, you know, when I heard about the secrets between you two.
Setsuna,
I could feel the hate welling from the bottom of my heart when I learned that he loved you so much.
And as far as lodging together here is concerned, this was more or less inevitable. Before I knew it, a conversation about the opposite sex had started, and the mood would regularly shift between a rowdy one and a silent one.
Hey, Haruki-kun, it seems that things have become really dark all of a sudden.
Sorry, I think the circuit breaker tripped. It seems that a multi-plug was the wrong choice.
What do you think of something like this? Sorry, I guess we'll have to scrap this one too.
That's not it. I never really said anything was wrong with it.
Yeah, neither you or Kazusa actually said anything, Haruki-kun. That's because there's no need for words in this case.
well,
As I thought, it's easy to tell from your reactions after the 8th attempt. It seems I just don't have any artistic sense.
No, that's not true. I think it might be better to say that we're not very good at judging these designs.
I'll take a short break. I'll be having some coffee.
Setsuna says that as she makes a good stretch, reaching toward one of the canned coffee beverages stocked up beside her. Of course, she's having unsweetened black coffee, unlike the beverage Kazusa's having.
What's the time now?
It's around 3:30.
I see. I guess wanting to finish the design within 2 hours was nothing more than a dream within a dream, huh?
No, that's... After all, Setsuna had managed to work at a pace of producing a design every 30 minutes. It's just that none of her suggestions were accepted.
You were right, Haruki-kun. We should have started immediately instead of messing around.
it's Haruki's fault for bringing stuff that we could mess around with. You really don't have to feel responsible for that, Setsuna.
Said stuff happens to be my work material. You could at least pay proper attention to what it is. Setsuna's regret is baseless, just as Kazusa described. In any case, it's been almost 4 hours since we started working seriously. It's not like we could have guaranteed that we would be able to finish early by starting early in the first place. We couldn't have known if we would succeed within a single attempt or fail across 100 tries. Not to speak of the fact that our judges have agreed to never compromise on anything, on top of being complete amateurs.
All right, I'm done with my break. I'll get back to working hard for a while longer.
There's really no need to rush. How about you get a little sleep?
But the deadline is this morning, right? If we don't get the design done on time, at least we're in for a lot of trouble.
Morning means any time before 12 o'clock, so we still have enough time to spare. Even so, with the time we have left, each and every one of us is beginning to feel anxious. We won't stand for any word about compromise. But still, we can't be sure that the designs that we've rejected up until now are truly as unusable as we thought. We've been stuck denying them for the sake of denying them. It's possible that we've caught ourselves in a negative spiral.
It'll be all right. Really. Just give me a little time. I feel like I can finally come up with something good this time.
Even so, Setsuna remains the same until the bitter end, giving her all to maintain her cheerfulness and gentle persona.